So as we move on, up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have another very interesting panel discussion coming your way. As you can see, we are setting the stage for the panel, and our next set of panelists are going to be discussing sustainable, mindful, and impactful living. Just give us a moment while we get the stage set up. It's almost ready already, before I invite our esteemed panelists to the stage. So ladies and gentlemen, to moderate this session, I would like you all to please put your hands together as I invite up to the stage Jyotsna Raheja, Editor, Global Sustainability Alliance by Times Group. Let's put our hands together and make some noise for Jyotsna. Jyotsna, I request you to please occupy the first seat. And our esteemed panelists, ladies and gentlemen, keep that applause coming for Aalekh Kapoor, actor and climate content creator. Give it up for Aalekh Kapoor. And a round of applause, please, for Sanjana Sanghi, actor, UNDP Youth Champion. Jyotsna, I request you to please occupy the camera. They request the moderator to be seated here. Sorry about that. Sorry for the confusion.
So welcome both of you, and I get this opportunity to bring in a change in the conversations we have been having since the whole evening. And the change starts like we have been having two great personalities here who are talking and advocating about certain subjects when it comes to sustainability. We have been talking more about the technical aspect, what companies are doing, what different stakeholders are doing. But I believe we also want to know more from the advocacy point of view. And to have this discussion, I would like to start with Sanjana, who is an UNDP advocate for the Youth Champion. And we start with like how you are pushing the overall idea of UNDP when it comes to advocating youth and building them for the future we are seeing for a sustainable development.
Thank you, Jyotsna, and thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone. I think there's no simple or short answer to that question, because for everyone present in this room, it's driving any kind of impact is a very long journey. Mine personally started from my days in Delhi University when I was at Lady Shri Ram College, and you get this brilliant opportunity to work with communities on ground. And somehow the youth ended up becoming my passion point, from the aspect of working to make them as employable as possible and ensuring that there's education for all. And sustainability, somewhere I realized that inevitably becomes a crucial part of that, because I really believe that for the future generations to be able to fight for sustainability, it needs to be rooted in right at the primary education level. I didn't have that in school. I didn't know that I'm not supposed to use plastic. It wasn't told to me in classrooms. I learned it by seeing my mother and my nanny. But unless we are taught that, as grown-up adults, you can't just learn this behavior overnight. Which is why you'll see billions of Indians and otherwise littering all over the place, etc., because it needs to be ingrained. So that's what I'm focusing on in the programs that I'm running with the UNDP, of just ensuring that it starts at the foundational level and simple, basic stuff, everyday practices, and hoping that that drives change.
I agree, and in fact, a couple of sessions before when we had Dr. Peramal, she also brought in a story wherein the emphasis was on the community level change, and in fact, youth playing a role in that. So, means to lead to those larger goals, it has to start from the grassroots, and I think that's where it becomes an important role when it comes to the education of the youth. Yeah. So I think passing on to Aalekh means for everybody to know, Aalekh has been also starting working from grassroots, and he talks about very small issues, and he brings in the importance of those issues for us to understand, and he advocates that it is important for all of us to know exactly what is it behind climate change and why we need to have a conscious awareness about it. So maybe Aalekh can give more about us, let us know more about us.
Yeah, so, I had always been reading about climate and environmental issues way back in the early 2000s, back then when climate change was supposed to be conspiracy theory, and it was on page 10 of newspapers. But I always had a strong connect with the environment, and I felt that something was not working, and I kept tracking the news, and I kept tracking these, minute changes, these small articles that you get in the newspapers that this happened and that happened, and I just kept adding everything. And later, a couple of years ago, I realized, what am I doing? I'm an actor. I'm doing this for myself. It's good. I'm enjoying this. But what am I doing for others? What am I doing for the society? And that's when I realized that, what is my skill set? My skill set is that I'm comfortable in front of the camera. I know a lot about climate and environmental issues, and I love writing. I used to write earlier. So how do I merge all of this, and how do I start educating people about what is needed and what is important? And at that time, content was booming because everyone was consuming content left, right, and center. They still are. And I realized that, okay, this is my focal point. This is where I need to focus on. But the intention was not that, I will do this regularly or it will become big. The intention was, let's start doing something that is important and needed. It so happened that people started liking it, and now I'm busy with it all the time.
Yeah, I believe what both of you are talking is something which is coming from the passion you have for what you are advocating. So when it comes to Sanjana being an actress, when it comes to you being an actor, along with it, promoting and advocating about these ideas is something which motivates the same group of people and for all of us to understand. But I just want to understand from you, Sanjana, that how do you balance looking into the different portfolios when it comes to justifying your role as an actress and then also advocating on such an important subject which needs a lot more attention and serious, concise efforts to it?
I think it, like you said, it is passion driven. I don't think any of this ever happens by design. When I was 17 years old in college and the bug of community work hit me, at that point I didn't know I'm going to end up becoming an actor for the rest of my life. But what I did know is that impact work has to remain a big part of my life. And I realized that this access that we get to audiences is an incredible platform to then utilize to drive greater change. Because earlier I would do it in my little cocoon of the 100 people that I would work with on ground. Now I think we get to reach out to those many more people, and you'll be surprised as to how many common individuals want to find avenues to drive change. They just need a hand to hold and a movement to join. So it's also been an incredibly enriching experience of meeting people at the ground level, partnering with amazing individuals. And I think it genuinely makes me a better artist. I think it makes me far more connected and far more empathetic.
What do you enjoy more?
For the sake of all the producers that have put in money into the films I'm doing right now, there's only one safe answer. But I genuinely, it's the combination of both that really keeps me going, for sure.
Yeah. And Aalekh, what about you? Means driving content, it's not easy. And influencing people with the content you bring in, it's also not easy. It has to be captivative enough that we feel it's something which we don't know and it's something new which is coming up. So how do you see what you bring in does that, justice to that?
Yeah, it's a daily challenge, I tell you. It's not about the information that I have. It's not about the what I already know. It's about how I communicate it to the audience, and that changes every day. Social media is a volatile network in itself, and content creators, we feed on each other. We see what is working, what the audience is liking, what the other one has made, what is working, and we try and modify our content according to that. What might work today might not work, let's say, 2 months down the line. That's how content is. But that's the beauty of, the place itself, because, that's what keeps me going. Because, I have to be constantly on my toes. Throughout the day, I'm thinking, what will work? How do I spread the right message in the right way so that people consume it and they are affected by it. That's the constant question that I have in mind. And it's fun. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. And when it works, it does wonders because as she said, there are people who are waiting to be affected, who just, you need to hold their hand and you need to direct them to the right avenues, to the right circumstances, to the right people. There are people who are really interested in doing things for the planet, who are interested in doing the right kind of activity. And when they are affected, it feels good at the end of the day.
I agree. And in fact, Sanjana, when it comes to bringing change at the community, maybe we look it from the people perspective. See, we are doing our effort to be the advocates, to be the influencers, but unless taken it more effectively from the person's or the receiver's point of view in terms of impact creation. So how do you see that change happening since you have been involved in it and you working with youth? How do you feel that is happening and how conscious are people getting about it when it comes to the community level?
I think especially in the work that I've been doing with the UNDP, and when I go on ground for our programs, I've learned that two things I think are really working. One being, like I said, curriculum integration. What I've seen with the 10 to 15 age group is that when you include a certain theme in their extracurriculars or in their classroom, it's really entering their psyche. Because when I go back to the same project, say 6 months later, I genuinely see it cleaner. I see students' plastic water bottles replaced with their traveling bottles and small little changes like that. And the second thing, of course, is policy-driven change. I think that'll never go away. From a policy perspective, ensuring that that is the focus, because that drives everything else. That drives the money we get to carry out change on ground, etc. So it's these two that really make the difference, because we as advocates then are essentially echoing the ground reality. I've always tried to stay away from ever glorifying the change that one is able to make. If change is limited, you must say it as it is. And that's why I said in the beginning that it's a long and treacherous journey with no single answer. But I think this combination of policy-driven change and curriculum integration has been working.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Aalekh, what about you? Because when you're advocating more from the content perspective, so means people perception is something which we mentioned is important. How do you feel when you connect to so many people, that how are they perceiving the change? How is the consciousness getting more embedded in their business activities or the daily activities, and how you as an individual are able to make that impact?
So I constantly get feedback from the people who are watching the content. Just today afternoon, someone got in touch with me and they told me, we want to feature you in one of our articles. And I told them that, I'm not really doing a lot. I'm just making content and I'm just doing my bit. But the reply I got was, you don't know the kind of change and the kind of effect you're having on us. So, these are the kind of people who keep getting back to me and who keep telling me that the kind of work I'm doing is really impacting them at a ground level. Even if it is a 1-minute reel, if they watch it, let's say for 50 seconds, but they learned something and they shared it with, let's say, 50 people, and then those people share it further. It does create an impact. And, what I keep, harping on the fact is that, the world has seen 5 mass extinctions in the last 500 years, and it has always recovered. So it's humans who are going to be impacted in the end. It's not the world. We keep talking about World Environment Day, save forests, save animals, do this, do that. But why are we doing that? It's not out of a sense of morality. It's because, it's impacting humans. We have realized that we cannot exist without everything around us. And if everything else keeps slowly disappearing, if the forests, if the ice caps, if different kinds of animals and microbes, they keep disappearing, in the end, it'll impact us. And we won't be able to live the kind of lives that we think or we desire that our future generations will. So, in the end, survival is always a better motivator than morality. So it save humans. That should be the tagline: save humans and not save planet, because the planet will recover. That's what I keep talking about in my reels, and that's what I keep educating people on.
I think absolutely. Maybe to close this conversation, Sanjana, from you, the last statement that what do you want to advocate at this platform when you say that towards the larger goal we have when it comes to sustainability, maybe for both of you, for Sanjana and then Aalekh, that what is that role what we are playing and the larger vision we are looking at it, and what keeps us motivating to look at the better and the larger of it so that we get more benefits in the shorter time is what, and we contribute to the larger goal.
I think I would keep it extremely simple, which is that since my area of work lies with the youth, it's just, my message would be to remind them that they are very, very crucial stakeholders in the kind of world we wish to see. Every action of theirs, big or small, has a big impact. And that they must feel empowered, that each thing that they do will make a difference, positive and negative, and for them to truly inculcate the ability to see the importance of this, which I know that they are, but to also use each other as bouncing boards and create mobilized support. I think that would be basically for the youths to realize that they're far more important in this journey than they think.
Absolutely. Self-realization here for the youth is more important. Aalekh, what you have said.
She has spoken about the youth, so I'll talk about people like us, the older generation. I would say that everyone talks about, it's good to be at these forums and talk about sustainability, but we have to start small. We have to be sustainable ourselves. And what I say is that being sustainable is about hitting the gym. It doesn't happen in the first week of Jan. You won't lose weight, or in my case, gain weight in 2 months. It's a lifestyle that you need to live. As a culture, we were sustainable until 20, 25 years ago, when modernization happened and consumerism happened in India. And no one had heard about plastics at least 25 years ago. So, to go back to how we were, it won't happen overnight. You need to start small. You need to start with baby steps. Reduce, I'm not even saying stop the consumption of single-use plastic. Reduce single-use plastic. Start, thinking of being zero waste. Start having these conversations in dinner tables. Start discussing with your spouse. Start discussing with your children. Probably your children will know more about this than you. And sow the seed. And it might happen in a year. It might happen in 5 years. Thank you.
I think great discussing from that perspective with both of you, and thank you for joining us on this platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you.